October 27, 2014, from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It was the Washington Redskins at the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Washington won the toss and they elected to first. So the Cowboys would start things off in this game, and they would end up punting after 5 plays. So now the Redskins took over with about 12.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and they started things off on the Dallas 48. So they started off in Dallas territory, and they moved down into field goal range, and their drive stalled on the 26. Then Kai Forbath came out and he kicked a 44-yard field goal. Put the first points on the board with his foot, and it was now 3-0 Washington over Dallas. So now the Cowboys took over with a little less than 10 minutes left in the first. They started off on the 15. They made it into Washington territory, but then they ended up getting backed up when Tony Romo was sacked for an 11-yard loss by Riley, and then they would have to punt. So now the Redskins would take over with about 5.5 minutes left in the first, and they started off on their own 8-yard line. Then Colt McCoy hit DeSean Jackson for an 18-yard pass to bring it out to the 26. But then they would end up punting 4 plays later, and so now the Cowboys would get the ball back with a little less than 3 minutes left in the first. They started off on their own 19. And then a couple plays later, it was 2nd and 20 from the 9. And they ended up fumbling the ball. It was Randall who fumbled. Merriweather blew him up, and Murphy recovered the ball. And so the Redskins would take over on the Dallas 25, primed and ready to score. Just 2 minutes left in the first. And then on 2nd and 12 from the 27, Colt McCoy dropped back to pass, and he was intercepted by Wilcox. And it was in the end zone, so it was a touchback. So Dallas would take over on their own 20 with about 1.5 minutes left in the first. They would bring the first quarter to a close, and after 1, the score was Washington 3, Dallas 0. So to start things off in the second quarter, Dallas had just gotten a first down on the last play of the third, and it was 1st and 10 on the 35. And then a few plays later, after getting into Washington territory, after having picked up a first down on 3rd and 4 from the 41 when Romo hit Witten for a 15-yard pass, it was now first down on the Washington 44. Romo then hit Murray for a 36-yard pass, but then Breland blew him up and forced the fumble, and Merriweather recovered. So now the Redskins had the ball with less than 13 minutes left in the half. They had on their own 10, but they would end up punting 5 plays later, as this game saw plenty of defense. So now the Cowboys had the ball with 9 minutes left in the second quarter. They had on their own 20. And then after picking up a first down, it was first down on the 32, and Tony Romo dropped back to pass, and he hit Dez Bryant for a 20-yard reception that brought the ball to midfield and across into Washington territory on the 48. A couple plays later, it was 3rd and 6 from the 44. Romo dropped back, and he hit DeMarco Murray, and he went 24 yards to bring the ball to the 20 and obviously picking up the first down. So now it's first down on the 20. Romo drops back to pass, and he hit Williams for a 15-yard reception. So now it's 1st and goal on the 5, and Romo dropped back and he hit Dez Bryant for the touchdown to put the Cowboys in the lead, with the score now 7-3 Dallas over Washington. So now the Redskins would take over with less than 5 minutes left in the first half. They had the ball on their own 20, but they would end up punting 6 plays later. So now Dallas had the ball with less than 2 minutes left in the half. They had it on their own 12. They would bring it up towards midfield, but on the final play of the first half, Tony Romo dropped back to pass and was sacked by Kerrigan. So going into halftime, the score was Dallas 7, Washington 3. So now to start things off in the second half, the Redskins had the ball on their own 20. And then on 2nd and 3 from the 27, Alfred Morris ripped off a 29-yard run to bring it into Dallas territory on the 44. A few plays later, it would end up being 1st and 25 on the 41. And then Helu ran for 18 yards. So now it was 2nd and 7 on the 23 of Dallas. And Colt McCoy dropped back and hit Pierre Garçon for an 18-yard pass to make it 1st and goal on the 5. And then Alfred Morris punched it in from 5 yards out and gave the Redskins back the lead, with the score now 10-7 Washington over Dallas. So now with a little less than 10 minutes left in the third, Dallas would take over on their own 22. They did pick up a first down as they got to the 37 after a couple plays. But then on 3rd and 11 from the 36, Tony Romo dropped back to pass, and he was sacked yet again, this time for a 12-yard loss by Robinson. And Romo was injured on the play, and he was taken away. So the Cowboys would punt the ball, and Romo appeared to be done. The Redskins would then go 3 and out, and now Dallas got the ball back with less than 6 minutes left in the third, and they had it on their own 43. Weeden was now under center, and on first down, DeMarco Murray ran 51 yards all the way down to the Washington 6 to make it 1st and goal on the 6. They then gave it to Murray on first down. He picked up 3. Now it was 2nd and goal on the 3. But then a pair of incomplete passes by Weeden would bring out Dan Bailey to kick the 21-yard field goal. So now it's a tie game at 10 apiece. You have to wonder why they didn't just keep pounding the rock with the best running back in football. Maybe you get a touchdown there. So now the Redskins would take over with about 4 minutes left in the third. They start off on their own 20. Penalties pushed them back, but then on 3rd and 6 from the 24, McCoy would find Helu for a 7-yard pass, and then on 2nd and 6 from the 35, McCoy would hit Morris for a 12-yard pass. So now it was 1st and 10 on the 47. McCoy dropped back to pass. He ended up scrambling around, and he found DeSean Jackson for a 45-yard pass. As that brought the ball to the 8-yard line, and the third quarter came to the close with the game still tied up at 10 apiece. So now to start things off in the fourth, the Redskins had 1st and goal on the 8-yard line. Morris ran for a yard, and then McCoy threw it to Paul on a screen. They got no gain, so now it was 3rd and goal from the 7, and McCoy ended up running up the gut himself as he took it into the end zone and gave the Redskins the lead with the score now 17-10. So now Dallas would take over with about 13.5 minutes left in the fourth. They had it on their own 20. Weeden still behind center. And they would end up getting the ball to midfield. And then on 2nd and 15 from the Dallas 44, Weeden dropped back to pass, and he hit DeMarco Murray, and he ran it 23 yards off of the screen. And that brought it to the Washington 33. Randall then ran for 8 yards, and now it was 2nd and 2 on the Washington 25. Weeden dropped back to pass, and he hit Jason Witten for a 25-yard touchdown. So now this game was tied up at 17 apiece. So now the Redskins would take over with 9.5 minutes left in the fourth, and the game tied up. They started off on their own 20. And they would eat up a lot of clock as they marched it to midfield and into Dallas territory, but their drive would end up stalling when on 3rd and 10 from the 37, Colt McCoy was sacked by Mincy for a 4-yard loss, and so out came the punting unit. So now the Cowboys would get the ball back on their own 3-yard line with less than 2 minutes left. And so now Tony Romo would come back into the game. And so now Murray ran for 9 yards on first down to bring it out to the 12. Romo then got sacked for a 9-yard loss by Merriweather, and he fumbled. But DeMarco Murray ended up recovering the fumble. So now it was Dallas's ball on their own 5, 3rd and 8. Romo drops back to pass, and he hit Williams for an 18-yard reception to bring the ball out to the 23. Then Romo hit Williams for a 5-yard pass. So now it was 2nd and 5 on the 28, and Romo hit Williams for a 4-yard pass to make it 3rd and 1 from the 32. Romo drops back, and it was incomplete. It was ruled intentional grounding. And so now the punting unit would come out. So they punted the ball, and the Redskins got it, and they just took a knee as they took this game wisely to overtime. So Washington would get the ball first, and they would take over on their own 20. Colt McCoy showing veteran poise, even though he has not played many games in the NFL. He's been sitting on the bench for the last few years. McCoy found Pierre Garçon on an amazing play where he ended up extending the play, and he picked up 23 yards to bring the ball out to the 43. Alfred Morris then ran for 8 yards to bring it up to the Dallas 49. So it was 2nd and 2 on the 49. They lost a yard, so now it's 3rd and 3 on the 50. And Colt McCoy hit Jordan Reed for a 5-yard reception to give it a first down. So now it was a first down on the 45, and Colt McCoy hit Jordan Reed. This is a play where Colt McCoy was amazing. He scrambled around, he extended the play, he told Reed, I'm giving it to you, and he made a perfect pass. Jordan Reed made an amazing catch, and it was a 16-yard reception, and now it was first down on the 29 of Dallas. Morris then ran for 2 yards, and then on 2nd and 8, McCoy hit Jackson for a 5-yard pass. This brought up 3rd and 3 from the 22, and a pass to Reed was a no gain, and so now here came Kai Forbath out to kick a field goal. It was a 40-yard attempt, and it was up, and it was good, and now it was 20-17. But with the overtime rules, as they have been in effect now for a couple, it came into effect, I believe, last year. And so now the rules, what they say is that if you only score a field goal, the other team has a chance to score a field goal and keep the game going, or whoever scores the touchdown wins. So first to score a touchdown wins. If you get a field goal, the other team still has a chance. So now the Cowboys would have a chance. They get the ball on their own 20. And on first down from the 20, they ran the ball with DeMarco Murray, an 8-yard run. So now it's 2nd and 2. What do? Oh, let's pass the ball. It was a pass to Murray, and it was a 1-yard loss. So now it's 3rd and 3. Definitely 4-down territory. Romo drops back to pass. He made a bad read, and instead of going to the open man, he goes to his favorite target, which they obviously were expecting him to go to Jason Witten, and so it was an incomplete pass. So now it was 4th and 3. They're forced to go for it. Romo drops back. He's in the shotgun already, and he's looking around, and immediately, he just folded under the pressure and just freaking oh, what do I do? And then he pretty much put him in the position to get sacked instead of just having poise. And then he throws to Washington. Didn't even throw it to anybody who could conceivably catch the ball. Made a horrible throw right to a Washington defender, basically. You would have thought the pass was to them. But the game came to a close, and the Redskins win. Amazing. No one thought the Redskins were going to win this game, but Tony Romo found a way to screw it up, even though it's October, not December. And the final score is Washington 20, Dallas 17. And with the win, the Redskins are now 3-5 on the season, and the Cowboys are 6-2. And they actually dropped to 3-2 in Dallas. So both of their losses have come at home. And in this game, Colt McCoy was very impressive. He was 25 for 30. He threw 299 yards and 1 interception. He also rushed for 16 yards off of 7 carries. Tony Romo was 17 for 28 with 209 yards and 1 touchdown. Brandon Weeden was 4 for 6 for 69 yards and a touchdown. DeMarco Murray was the game's leading rusher with 141 yards off of 19 carries. Alfred Morris had 73 yards off of 18 carries and a touchdown. The leading receiver in the game was DeSean Jackson with 136 yards off of 6 receptions. DeMarco Murray was actually also the leading receiver for the Cowboys with 80 yards off of 4 receptions. Jason Witten had 70 yards off of 5 receptions and 1 touchdown. Dez Bryant only had 30 yards off of 3 receptions and a touchdown. And on defense, both teams had a tackler who had 10 tackles. For Dallas, it was Durant. For Washington, it was Robinson. Washington sacked the quarterback 5 times. Robinson had 1 sack. Merriweather had 2 sacks. Kerrigan and Riley each had a sack. And then for Dallas, they had 3 sacks, as Melton had 2 sacks and Mincy had 1 sack. And the lone interception in the game was Wilcox of the Cowboys. So in this game, Romo goes down to injury. Weeden comes in and throws a touchdown, but then Romo comes back in. Why? Why did he come back in? He shouldn't have came back in. Weeden maybe might have done something. He already did score that touchdown when he had the chance, when you had him there. So why put in an injured Romo? And if he's in there, then he's open to criticism, because you can't make the excuse that he was injured. If you're injured, don't be on the field. Brandon Weeden scored a touchdown, didn't he? But Romo comes back in and screws the whole thing up. Not only that, bad coaching by the Cowboys. How is it that on first down, DeMarco Murray runs for 8 yards, it's now 2nd and 2, then you pass to DeMarco Murray for a 1-yard loss, and then when it's 3rd and 3, 4-down territory, maybe you freaking hand the ball off to the best running back in football, jackasses. I mean, could you be worse at coaching? And then Romo, even his decision-making on those final plays was horrendous. And so the Cowboys, we now see already here in October, we don't have to wait for December for the collapse. I know they're still 6-2, but the Cowboys are going nowhere. They might as well be 2-6 with this freaking. The whole thing's a charade. The only good player they have is DeMarco Murray. That's it. Final score, Washington 20, Dallas 17.